Dayton. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Mike Mulheron. I'm a director at Dow Chemical, where I've applied my mechanical engineering skills for the past 35 years in power and steam generation plants around the globe. I also live on Medina Lake. During the August 8th meeting, which I attended, your general manager referred to the Medina Lake dam valves as pinpricks in a big bucket, suggesting that the amount of water released from these valves is small and or insignificant. I'm here to tell you tonight that the valves can release a tremendous amount of water and are far from the pinpricks they were portrayed to be. Working in the power and steam generation business, we routinely monitor cooling water flow rates. I estimated the flow rates from the valves and had a peer on our staff review them. Then I used the Medina Lake dam valve spec sheets, which is in your handout, for the same conditions to validate the calculations, and they were within plus or minus 15%. Based upon the flow data, the smallest valve can release more than 200,000 acre-feet in a year at just 50% open. This is nearly enough water to supply all of SAW's 1.7 million customers for a full year, or about 80% of the entire lake volume. That sounds like more than a pinprick to me. It's a huge amount of water. So aside from obviously rainfall or lack thereof, the Medina Lake dam valves have the most influence on the lake's level than any other factor, more than leakage, evaporation, or aquifer recharge rates. So it's of the utmost importance for you, the board members, to know the facts and how much water can be released from these valves, especially since there is no flow meter to measure it. The only current means to monitor flow from Medina Lake has been through the use of drones to record when the valves are open or closed. The drones would not be needed if BMA published valve position data on their website like other water authorities. The fact that you're just getting out of executive session with one of the topics being illegal drones begs the question, what's BMA trying to hide? Doesn't the public have a right to know how much water a critical resource is being managed for the state of Texas? Thank you.
Mulheron, and I'm a member of the State Medina Lake Committee, and I also live on Medina Lake. During, again, the August 8th meeting, your general manager made a comment on water being drawn from Medina Lake by property owners through straws, suggesting a significant amount of water was drawn, and it's illegal to do so. Being the data-driven organization that we are, we decided to take a look at the numbers behind this statement. And what we found was very interesting. There are 1,202 waterfront properties in Bandera County and 432 waterfront properties in Medina County, so a total of 1,634 waterfront properties on Medina Lake. We also found that the average U.S. family uses a little less than 1/2 acre-foot a year, according to the EPA. So the worst case scenario is that every property on the lake draws water through these straws, which would be around 800 acre-feet per year. Members of the board, this is less water than what can be released from the smallest valve in one day. And I know for a fact that at least 2 properties, the 2 that I own, draw from wells, not the lake. The more realistic case is 25%. We still believe that's high. Draw water or pipe water, which would pull around 200 acre-feet. And this is a very small amount of water compared to what can be released from the valves, as we just heard. And this does not even consider that 75% of the property owners are not full-time at the lake. Under Texas law, it is legal for Medina Lake property owners to draw water for domestic purposes. It is legal. Therefore, it is suggested that what could be considered as mere pinpricks are these straws, certainly not the valves. It is hoped that you, the members of this board, are using accurate data and facts to make operational decisions about the lake versus gross, inaccurate misinformation pointed out here tonight. Thank you.
Next one is Henny.
Henning Eilert also.
I just hope.
You're doing good. It's not easy. Good evening. I'm Henning Eilert Olsen. I'm also from the Save Medina Lake organization. As you know, Save Medina Lake is a organization based on volunteers. It's a non-profit and non-governmental organization that has been established to try to make sure we implement the most and best policies that are available for managing the water in the Medina River and the Medina Lake. This water should be managed with all stakeholders in mind. That be the farmers for irrigation purposes, that be the people living around the lake, and that be the people using the lake for recreation, as well as the people in the source district, the San Antonio Water System District, which draw a lot of water from the aquifer, which Medina Lake is a significant recharge to. All of these stakeholders should be considered when we look at how the gates or how this lake and this water is managed. About a year and a half ago, we decided to start a petition to let the people in the community show their support and interest and concern about these questions. So we are here today to let you know that we already have 10,000 signatures. And that is a lot of people when you consider that there's only 2,000 people that lives around this lake. And it is also significant that just a few of us managed to do this in just a year and a half. And what does that show? What does that tell us? That tells us that this is something that has very broad concern, that a lot of people, not only around the lake, but deep into San Antonio, is concerned about. So I just urge you guys to make sure that you consider that when you make your decisions, that this is something that is of huge concern to a lot of people in the vicinity of where we're sitting today. Perhaps I should read what these 10,200 or 300 people have signed. While acknowledging the serious consequences of the drought in Texas, the undersigned hereby express deep concern over the way the water in Medina Lake has been managed, and assert the entities managing the gates in Medina Dam share the responsibility for draining Medina Lake. The undersigned wish to express support for the efforts undertaken by the Save Medina Lake Committee and urge local communities and the state of Texas
Mr. Take the time, 3 minute time is left.
to introduce measures ensuring that the water will be conserved to the greatest extent possible. You want, okay, do you want to view the petitions we have brought through all 10,000 signatures? You want, no. What a surprise.
The next one is Hugo Barrera.
Glad all you guys showed up today, by the way. I've met quite a few of you. You guys are great. But anyway, I own land in Medina and with the BMA. I have irrigation rights. The lake was built in the 1900s, early 1900s, for the farmers. They were so you could produce food, so you could raise the cattle, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, that's what it was for. Everything progresses as time goes on. You guys are complaining about the BMA, that they're wasting too much water, et cetera, et cetera. I bought my property in the early 2000s. When I first started irrigating, you just open the canal up, you pay for your water, you open the canal up, and the water comes out. There's no metering. We were in a wet period. We were in a monsoon time, anyway. As time went on, we got into the drought. When the drought came on, they changed everything around. They bought meters. They're spending the money to put meters for metering it. The farmers that that pay into the BMA, we pay our rights every year for this water. It doesn't mean we get the water. We had 2.5 years of drought, which I'm paying in 2 years for this. And I don't have that much property. The two guys that were there earlier, they have lots of property. They are professional farmers. I am not. This is just one of my side businesses that I have.
None of us came in here and bitched about that we're not getting our water. You know, the lake is down, we already understand that, yet we're still paying in when there's no water to be had because it has to be maintained. They have corrected a lot of that. They're working to correct a lot more. You know, we have the rights as far as with the water goes. And what, I have 3 minutes? Is that correct? What do I want, about 2 minutes or 2.5?
Look, you have a total of 3 minutes, but you have a minute and 15 seconds.
Oh, good. Sounds good. Well, anyway, you know, we have the right as far as where the water goes. I know you guys, I'm sure all of you have property around Medina Lake. I mean, 1, 2, I mean, we have a realtor back there, et cetera, et cetera. You like having that water. You know, you have your barbecues. You don't make money off of it. Some of you probably are business owners that make money off the lake. We have one where? Who's the business owner? Okay. He is. What do you have? What type of business?
Water sports business.
Great. That's good. That's good. It's seasonal, I'm sure. Anyway, this is not supposed to be asking questions. I'm sorry about that. I've got probably about 30 seconds left. Well, anyway, what I'm getting at is that the water's not for you guys. The water's for us. You bought your property. You bought the property, and with a beautiful lake behind, subject to whenever we have rains. One other thing. I was talking when Will Carter was on the board, they did an aerial over there. There's so many branches that have been subdivided up. You have dry creek beds that come down. They have built, the subdivided up has been building dams there to create their own little lakes before the water goes to the lake. This takes
Farmers
a
have
lot.
also.
That takes
They've
away
sold
from.
their land and they've turned their land into
Hey,
subdivisions.
either way, they
And
have.
that water's also getting.
He has.
Right, thank you. That's
Yeah,
also,
he's
yes,
wrong.
also.
He's wrong.
It's all taking water away coming to the lake, which fills it up. It's not the way it was when it was. No, wrong. Hang on, Ron. I don't want to argue. We're not arguing.
Right.
It's not the way it was when the lake was built. A lot of these, where I'm at.
Here you go. Here you're gonna read that.
One last thing.
Nope, time up.
Well, my last thing is that I think you guys should rename your organization. It should be called
biggest
SOAR,
bunch of crap
S-O-R-E,
I've
which
ever
is Save Our Real Estate.
They're wasting your water. They're wasting your water. That's what they're doing.
You know what? Buy a meter
Hey.
and donate it to the BMA, and that would be great. Then you know.